You're standing in line at the coffee shop, scrolling through your phone, minding your own business, when someone behind you mutters something under their breath. You catch it. It's about you. Maybe it's your outfit. Maybe it's how long you took to order. Maybe it's just the way you exist. Too loud, too quiet, too much, not enough. And just like that, your chest tightens. Your jaw clenches, your mind races. Should you turn around? Should you say something? Should you pretend you didn't hear it? And spend the next hour replaying it anyway. This is where most people lose. Not because they were insulted, not because someone tried to get under their skin, but because they let that moment live rent-free in their head for hours, days, sometimes years. They handed over their piece like a signed check to a stranger. But what if I told you there's another path? Not one of suppression, not one of fake smiles or forced politeness, but one of true sovereignty, where no comment, no glare, no passive-aggressive text, no online troll, no backhanded compliment can shake the foundation of who you are. This isn't about becoming cold. It's about becoming unshakable. And yes, Machiavelli knew this, not the cartoon villain history painted him to be, not the man who said the ends justify the means. That was never his quote. What he actually wrote, what he actually understood, was far more subtle, far more psychological, far more useful to you today than any motivational poster ever could be. He knew power doesn't come from controlling others. It comes from mastering yourself, especially when others try to provoke you, especially when they want a reaction, especially when they're fishing for weakness. The moment you react on their terms, you've already surrendered. You've let them dictate your emotional weather. You've given them the remote control to your nervous system. But the person who remains calm, who meets disrespect with silence, who watches an insult float by like a leaf on a river, that person becomes terrifying, not because they're violent, not because they're cruel, but because they cannot be manipulated. Their stillness confuses predators. Their indifference disarms manipulators. Their inner fortress has no doors. And that's what we're building here. Not armor you wear to battle, but architecture you live inside. A mental citadel so solid, so serene, that chaos outside only makes its silence louder. Let's start with the first truth. People don't bother you. You let them. Think about the last time someone truly upset you. Not the surface-level annoyance, the deep sting, the kind that lingers. What was it really about? Was it their words? Or was it what those words touched inside you? An old wound, a hidden insecurity, a fear you haven't faced. That's the crack they slipped through. That's the vulnerability they exploited. Most people spend their lives trying to plug those cracks with explanations, with arguments, with achievements, with likes, with validation. But Machiavelli would have laughed at that because he knew you don't fix the crack by covering it. You fix it by realizing it was never meant to be a weakness. It was meant to be a signal, a reminder that somewhere you've tied your worth to something outside yourself. To approval, to reputation, to being liked, and that's the trap. The moment your peace depends on other people's behavior, you've chained yourself to their chaos. Detachment isn't indifference to life. It's loyalty to your own center. Imagine two men standing in a storm. One is screaming at the wind, demanding it stop, throwing rocks at the sky. The other is sitting cross-legged, eyes closed, breathing slowly, not ignoring the storm, but refusing to let it dictate his state. Which one has more power? Which one is truly free? The world will always throw noise at you. Always. People will misunderstand you. They'll envy you. They'll project their pain onto you. They'll test you. That's not malice. That's human nature. Even good people do it unconsciously. The question isn't how to stop them. The question is how to become the kind of person their attempts slide off of. Like rain off marble. And that starts with expectation. Not pessimism, not cynicism, expectation. Machiavelli didn't say people are evil. He said, men are quick to change rulers when they believe they can improve their lot. In other words, people act in their own interest. Always. Even when it looks like they're attacking you, they're usually just protecting themselves, soothing their ego, or climbing some invisible social ladder. When you expect that, you stop being surprised. And when you stop being surprised, you stop being shaken. You walk into every room knowing some will smile at you while calculating how to use you. Others will dismiss you to feel taller. Others will criticize you because your light exposes their shadows. None of it is about you. It's physics, human psychology in motion. And once you see it that way, you stop taking it personally, because it was never personal to begin with. This is the first layer of your fortress, seeing people clearly, without illusion, without bitterness, and choosing not to hand them your keys. Silence is your second layer. Not the silence of fear, not the silence of confusion, the silence of choice, the deliberate, powerful refusal to play the game they designed. When someone insults you and you respond, even brilliantly, you've entered their arena. You've agreed to their rules. You've validated their attempt to move you. But when you say nothing, when you smile slightly and walk away, when you meet their venom with a blank stare that says, "Is that all you've got?" you break the spell. You become unreadable, unpredictable, and unpredictability is the death of manipulation. Why? Because manipulators rely on patterns, on reactions, on knowing which button to press to get the response they want. Remove the response, and you remove their power. Machiavelli wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." But modern readers misinterpret this. He wasn't advocating cruelty. He was observing reality. Love is fickle, conditional, easily withdrawn. Fear, in this context, means respect, born of unpredictability, of self-possession, of the knowledge that you cannot be rattled. That's what silence cultivates. Not emptiness, authority. Practice it. Next time someone tries to bait you, at work, online, in traffic, at a family dinner, don't speak, don't explain, don't defend, just pause. Breathe. Let the silence stretch. Watch their face shift from smugness to discomfort, to doubt. That's you winning, without saying a word. Emotions are your third layer, not enemies to crush, but signals to master. You will feel anger. You will feel hurt. You will feel the heat rise in your throat. That's human. That's alive. The weak suppress it. The foolish unleash it. The strong, they acknowledge it. Then choose what to do with it. Machiavelli understood emotion as intelligence. Raw data about your boundaries, your values, your triggers. Rage tells you something crossed a line. Shame tells you you've betrayed yourself. Fear tells you something matters, but none of them get to drive. You do. So when the fire rises, pause, name it. This is anger. This is insecurity. This is old pain resurfacing. Then ask, what does this feeling need? Not to explode, but to be honored. Sometimes it needs expression. Later, privately, constructively. Sometimes it needs release. Through movement, art, journaling. Sometimes it just needs witnessing, to be felt fully, then released like a balloon into the sky. Never let your emotions betray your strategy. Never let a momentary surge dictate your legacy. Control isn't repression, it's precision, like a surgeon's hand. Steady, intentional, life-giving. That's dominance. That's power. And it begins the moment you realize you are not your feelings. You are the space that holds them. The fourth layer of your fortress isn't built with silence or emotional control. It's built with something far more subtle, far more devastating: frame control. Most people spend their lives reacting inside frames they didn't design. Someone insults your work, you defend it. Someone questions your choices, you justify them. Someone mocks your dreams, you argue for their validity. But every time you do that, you've accepted their battlefield. You've agreed to fight on terrain they chose, with rules they set, for a prize they defined. And that's how you lose. Not because you're weak, but because you never realized you had the power to change the game entirely. Machiavelli didn't rise to power by winning every argument. He rose by refusing to play most of them. He understood. The person who controls the frame controls the outcome. So when someone says, "You'll never make it," don't explain your plan. Say, "Interesting. What makes you say that?" And watch them squirm as they try to justify their own pessimism. When someone sneers, "Who do you think you are?" Don't list your credentials. Smile and say, "Someone who doesn't need your permission." When someone tries to shame you for your ambition, don't shrink. Expand. "Thank you. I'm glad my drive bothers you. Means I'm on the right track." This isn't arrogance. It's architecture. You're not rejecting their opinion. You're rejecting their authority to define reality for you. You're shifting the frame from "prove yourself to me" to "I operate on a level you don't understand." And that shift, it's lethal, because now they're scrambling to catch up. Now they're confused. Now they're the ones off balance. Frame control is the art of making others play by your rules without them realizing you changed the rules. It's answering a personal attack with a philosophical question. It's responding to an insult with genuine curiosity. It's meeting hostility with such unshakable calm that the attacker starts wondering if they misread the situation entirely. That's power. Not loud, not aggressive. Quietly, effortlessly sovereign. The fifth layer, detachment from all outcomes, especially validation. Most self-help tells you to stop caring about criticism. Good advice, but incomplete. The real trap isn't just hating the hate. It's needing the love. Think about it. If your self-worth depends on praise, then you're just as fragile as someone destroyed by insults. One bad comment can ruin your day. One silent room after a presentation can crush you. One unanswered text can send you spiraling. Why? Because you've outsourced your value to external voices. You've made your peace conditional on applause. Machiavelli would have called this dangerous folly. He wrote, "A wise ruler ought never to keep faith when by doing so it would be against his interests." Harsh, maybe, but psychologically brilliant. Your loyalty should be to your mission, your values, your inner compass, not to the fleeting opinions of people who don't know your journey, your sacrifices, your silent battles. Praise is lovely. Enjoy it, savor it, but never let it become the oxygen you breathe. Because the moment you do, criticism becomes poison, and you become a puppet, dancing for whoever holds the strings of approval. True freedom comes when you realize you are enough, regardless. Your work has value, regardless. Your path is valid, regardless. Not because the crowd says so, because you say so. Build your foundation on bedrock. Your discipline, your integrity, your daily actions. Not on sand. Likes, comments, compliments, claps. Test this. Go 1 week without seeking validation. Don't ask, "Did you like it?" Don't check analytics first thing in the morning. Don't fish for reassurance. Just create. Just act. Just be. Notice how much mental space opens up. Notice how your decisions become clearer, bolder, freer. That's sovereignty. That's what happens when you stop renting your worth from others and start owning it outright. The sixth layer is perhaps the most practical. Reward your control. Punish your reactions. Not with guilt, not with shame, with intelligent reinforcement. Your brain learns through consequences, so make calmness feel good. Make reactivity feel costly every time you stay composed when provoked. Celebrate. Buy yourself coffee. Take a long walk. Watch the sunset. Anchor that victory in pleasure. Every time you snap, spiral, or surrender to emotion, impose a cost. Cold shower, extra workout, no screens for an hour. Not as punishment, as training. You're not beating yourself up. You're upgrading your operating system. Machiavelli knew rulers must appear consistent, not because they never fail, but because they build systems that make failure less likely. Willpower is a candle, beautiful but easily blown out. Systems are the walls that shield the flame. Design yours. Track your wins. Forgive your slips. Adjust. Evolve. This isn't about perfection. It's about direction. Are you trending toward stillness? Toward sovereignty? Toward unshakability? Then you're winning. The seventh layer turns indifference into a weapon. Not coldness, not cruelty, but pure, effortless lack of concern. Most people think power looks like anger, like shouting, like dominance displays, but true power, it looks like not caring whether they see your power at all. When someone insults you and you genuinely don't react, not because you're suppressing it, but because it simply doesn't register as relevant, that's when they panic. Because they expected a resistance, they expected drama, they expected you to give them the gift of your attention. Instead, you gave them nothing. And nothing is heavier than any insult. Nothing says, you don't matter enough to disturb my peace. Nothing says, your opinion lives in a universe I don't inhabit. Nothing says, I am beyond your reach. But this only works if it's real. Fake indifference is transparent. It's stiff. It's performative. Real indifference, it's relaxed. It's amused. It's almost kind. Because you're no longer threatened. You've moved on. You're building empires while they're still sharpening arrows. How do you get there? By investing your emotional energy only where it multiplies. Your growth, your craft, your loved ones, your mission. Everything else, noise, static, background radiation. You wouldn't rearrange your life because a stranger coughed near you. Why rearrange it because they muttered something bitter? Be the fox, Machiavelli said. Recognize the trap, then step around it. Don't waste energy dismantling every snare. Just walk past it. The eighth layer transforms attacks into fuel. Someone says you're not good enough. Let that ignite your practice. Someone mocks your dream? Let that deepen your resolve. Someone underestimates you? Let that become the quiet engine of your rise. Don't fight them. Outgrow them. Every critic, every hater, every doubter. They're handing you energy. The question is, will you burn it in petty fires? Or will you channel it into your forge? Use their doubt as weight on your barbell. Use their mockery as wind at your back. Use their envy as proof you're on the right path. Victors don't waste time silencing critics. They make the critics irrelevant through undeniable results. Build so loudly that their whispers can't be heard. Shine so brightly that their shadows disappear. That's the ultimate revenge. Not violence, not drama, but excellence so radiant it blinds the bitter. The ninth layer is cold calculation. The art of choosing when to care and when to walk away. Most people think they have two options when wronged: forgive blindly or seek revenge. Machiavelli saw a third: strategic release. Vengeance is a tool, not a duty. Ask, does pursuing this serve my long-term goals? Does it protect my peace? Does it strengthen my position? If yes, strike later, smarter, stronger. If no, let it go. Not because you're weak, because you're wise. Pride says, you owe me a reaction. Strategy says, my time is worth more than your drama. Not every battle deserves your presence. Not every fool deserves your focus. Choose your wars like a general, with precision, with purpose. with the end game always in sight. The 10th and final layer, total detachment. Not from life, from dependency. You can love deeply without letting threats to your loved ones control you. You can create passionately without letting criticism destroy your confidence. You can strive boldly without letting failure define your worth. Detachment means holding everything lightly. Success, failure, praise, blame, enjoying without clinging, learning without being crushed, living without conditions. This is the state Machiavelli pointed toward. Not heartlessness, but wholeness. Not isolation, but invulnerability. When nothing outside you can shake your inner peace, you become truly untouchable. Not because you're armored, but because you're free. People sense this. They may not understand it. They may even fear it, but they respect it deeply because you've done what few ever dare. You've stopped letting the world rent space in your mind. You've reclaimed every square inch of your inner territory. And now you move through life like water. Fluid, powerful, impossible to grasp, impossible to contain. No insult sticks, no provocation lands, no drama clings. You are calm, you are clear, you are sovereign. And that is the ultimate power, the kind no one can give you, and no one can take away. This isn't theory, this is practice. Start today. Pick one layer, master it, then add another. Before long, you'll notice the shift in how you respond, in how others treat you, in how the world bends around your stillness. You'll become the person others whisper about, not because you shouted, but because you didn't need to. Not because you fought, but because you rose above the fight entirely. That's the Machiavellian mastery modern life forgot, and the one you're now reclaiming. Brick by brick, breath by breath, silence by silence. You think power is loud? You think it's the person who shouts the loudest in the room, who dominates every conversation, who demands attention like a spotlight chasing them across the stage. But real power, the kind Machiavelli understood, the kind that lasts, that endures storms, that commands respect without begging for it, doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need to. It moves in silence. It operates beneath the surface. It's the calm eye of the hurricane, while everyone else is screaming about the wind. And if you're still measuring your strength by how hard you fight back, how fiercely you defend yourself, how quickly you clap back, you're playing checkers while the masters play chess. Because true dominance isn't about winning arguments. It's about making arguments irrelevant. It's not about silencing critics. It's about becoming so undeniable that criticism becomes background noise, like static on a radio tuned to a stronger frequency. That's what we're building here. Not a louder voice, but a deeper center. Not thicker skin, but no target at all. Let's go deeper into the architecture of unshakability, because knowing the layers isn't enough. You have to live inside them. You have to breathe through them. You have to let them reshape your instincts until reacting feels foreign and stillness feels like home. Start with this. Most emotional triggers aren't about what's happening now. They're echoes of what happened then. That comment your coworker made about your idea, it didn't just sting because it was rude. It stung because it brushed against an old wound. Maybe from a teacher who told you your thoughts were impractical, or a parent who dismissed your dreams as childish, or a friend who laughed when you shared something vulnerable. Until you heal those fractures, you'll keep flinching at shadows. Machiavelli never wrote about therapy, but he understood human nature better than most therapists do. He knew people act from their own wounds, so when someone lashes out at you, ask yourself, what pain are they carrying that made them choose this moment to bleed on me? Not to excuse them, to disarm yourself of the illusion that it's about you. Their insult is a flare from their inner battlefield, not a declaration of war against yours. See it, name it, release it. Don't carry their chaos. That's layer 0. Before silence, before frame control, before detachment. Healing the cracks so nothing can slip through. Now layer 1, ritualize your composure. Not as performance, as practice. Every morning, before you step into the world, set your internal dial. Say aloud, nothing today will steal my peace. Feel it in your bones. Anchor it in your breath. Make it non-negotiable. Then, when the first provocation comes, and it will, pause, not to suppress, to center. Place your hand over your heart. Feel the beat, steady, alive, unbroken. Whisper, this does not define me, and move on. This isn't avoidance, it's sovereignty. You're not ignoring the storm. You're choosing not to let it rearrange your furniture. Build this ritual until it becomes reflex, until your nervous system learns provocations are weather patterns. Passing, impersonal, temporary. Your peace? That's climate, deep, enduring, unmoved. Layer 2, redesign your environment. You wouldn't train for a marathon by sprinting on concrete in flip-flops. Why train for emotional mastery by surrounding yourself with chronic stressors, energy vampires, and drama addicts? Machiavelli advised rulers to choose ministers wisely, not out of elitism, but survival. Your inner circle should be a sanctuary, not a battleground. Audit your inputs. Who drains you? Who triggers you? Who leaves you feeling smaller, angrier, more reactive? Limit exposure, not out of pettiness, out of self-preservation. Replace them with voices that anchor you. Books that deepen you, music that calms you, friends who reflect your highest self back to you. Curate your mental landscape like a king curates his court, with ruthless discernment. Layer 3, weaponize boredom. Most provocations thrive on your engagement. Your attention is their oxygen, so starve them when someone tries to bait you. Online, in person, in group chats. Respond with such profound indifference it borders on boredom. Not eye-rolling, not sighing. Genuine, relaxed disinterest. Oh, interesting. Then change the subject. Or walk away, or say nothing at all. Watch how quickly their energy deflates, how fast they scramble for a new target. Boredom is the ultimate dismissal. It says, you're not even worth the energy of annoyance. Layer 4, reframe disrespect as data. Someone insults your work. Instead of defending it, ask, what insecurity is this revealing about them? Someone mocks your choices. Wonder, what fear are they projecting onto me? Someone tries to embarrass you? Observe, what social game are they trying to win? And why does it matter so much to them? Turn every attack into anthropology. Study it. Learn from it. Extract the insight. Then discard the sting. This transforms enemies into unwitting teachers. Their cruelty becomes curriculum. Their malice becomes material. You stop being their victim and start being their student. Layer 5, build a second self. Machiavelli wrote under pseudonyms, not to deceive, to survive. You need a version of yourself that operates above the fray. A higher self who watches the drama unfold without getting sucked in. When provoked, ask, what would the wisest, calmest, most sovereign version of me do right now? Then do that. Not what feels good, not what satisfies the ego. What serves your long-term peace, power, and purpose. This isn't dissociation, it's alignment. You're not abandoning yourself. You're upgrading your operating system. Layer 6, practice strategic invisibility, not hiding. Selective presence. There are rooms where your light will be misunderstood as threat. Conversations where your truth will be twisted into weapon. Platforms where your depth will be flattened into meme. Know when to show up and when to disappear. Machiavelli didn't attend every banquet. He chose his appearances carefully, to maximum effect. Do the same. Your absence can be more powerful than your presence. Silence can be louder than speech. Withdrawal can be more devastating than attack. Layer 7, turn pain into protocol. Every time you get triggered, don't just recover. Upgrade. Journal. What button did they press? Why does it still work? How can I rewire it? Then design a new response. Example, if criticism makes you defensive, train yourself to say, "Thank you, I'll consider that." Then walk away. If sarcasm hooks you, train yourself to smile and say, "You're funny." Then change the subject. If passive aggression drains you, train yourself to exit gracefully. I've got somewhere to be. Without explanation. Build a library of unshakable responses. Practice them until they're automatic. Layer 8. Celebrate micro wins. Didn't react to that snide comment? Victory. Stayed calm during that chaotic meeting? Triumph. Walked away from that pointless argument? Championship move. Reward yourself, not with grand gestures, but with conscious acknowledgement. I'm proud of how I handled that. I'm growing. I'm becoming untouchable. These moments compound. They rewire your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who gets bothered, and start seeing yourself as someone who chooses their state, regardless of external noise. Layer 9, study the masters of stillness. Not just Machiavelli, Marcus Aurelius writing meditations in war camps, Lao Tzu speaking of water conquering stone through softness, Mandela walking out of prison without bitterness, Serena Williams holding championship poise after brutal taunts. Analyze their pauses, their posture, their pacing, steal their secrets, adapt them, make them yours. Layer 10, become the mirror. When someone comes at you with chaos, reflect back calm. With anger, reflect patience. With pettiness, reflect grace, not to change them. To remain unchanged yourself. Mirrors don't argue with what they reflect. They simply show it, clearly, neutrally, without distortion. Be the mirror. Let others see themselves in your stillness. Often that's enough to make them recoil or reconsider. This is the alchemy of true power, transforming poison into medicine, noise into silence, attacks into ascension. You don't defeat your enemies. You outgrow them. You don't silence your critics. You make them irrelevant. You don't armor yourself against the world. You dissolve the boundary between you and peace, until nothing outside can touch what's within. That's the Machiavellian mastery modern life forgot, and the one you're now reclaiming. Brick by brick, breath by breath, silence by silence,